There was a PBS series some years back that really piqued my curiosity. It had me tuning in for quite a few episodes. The host would begin with two seemingly unrelated things, and eventually, as the hour passed, would show how they were intimately connected. I'd like to see how taut that invisible thread is that I know connects each and every one of us. I'm Don Jackson, following a thread that vibrates with the heartbeat of the internet. Here, very near to the heartbeat of the internet, there are no video surveillance cameras. The web crawlers that collect data on each and every one of us have yet to make their way this deep into the web. Here, there still is something that will soon be extinct on our planet: privacy. Wanting every connection imaginable through our social media has just about stripped away all of our privacy. One of my favorite series of books of fiction begins with The Traveler by John Twelvehawks. It is a book that shows how connected we truly are, whether we like it or not, whether we feel the individual in our society has a right to privacy or not. I highly recommend it as fiction with definite non-fiction elements. If you want a peek into the future, you might be surprised to learn that that future is already here. Most people are on the world, not in it, have no conscious sympathy or relationship to anything about them, undiffused, separate, and rigidly alone like marbles of polished stone, touching but separate. Words of John Muir. In his now famous 1990 play, John Guare writes, "Everybody on this planet is separated by only 6 other people. 6 degrees of separation between us and everybody else on this planet." You might remember the film version of 6 Degrees of Separation and the ruse that was played on an unsuspecting couple. Someone enters the lives of this couple and claims to be the son of the great film actor Sidney Poitier, as well as a friend of the couple's children. Of course, he isn't related to the great actor, and when the ruse is found out, the couple try to uncover the reason for it happening in the first place. We may not want to be on the receiving end of a ruse like that one, but the truth of the matter is he really is connected to the great actor. In fact, we all are. We're all connected to everything and everyone around us, and that connection goes all the way to the far reaches of the universe. Hugh Downs, in Perspectives, wrote, and I quote, "There are more stars known to exist right now than the total number of all the grains of sand on every beach in the entire world." With those kinds of odds, it would seem downright naive for someone to go to a beach in, say, some remote inlet in Baffin Bay, stoop to pick up only one tiny grain of sand, and declare that grain alone was the only place where life could exist. I'm Don Jackson, pondering grains of sand that vibrate with the heartbeat of the internet. Karen Wright in Discover wrote, and I quote, "We are made of stardust. It's not just a poetic sentiment, it's a fact. In a young universe built mostly from hydrogen and helium, the self-immolation of stars in supernovas forged almost all other chemical elements and spewed them into space. Over time, they congealed into other stars and solar systems, and eventually into life itself. So in a sense, the urge to understand stars is woven into the fabric of our existence." Unquote. Our connections to each other go that deep, down into the subatomic level, and infused in every fiber of our being. There's a part of the sun in the apple. There's a part of the moon in a rose. There's a part of the flaming Pleiades in every leaf that grows. An excerpt from a poem by Augustus Wright Bamberger. It is our connection to one another this hour that is at the heart of this webcast, a connection that I'm trying to make with you. One of my most cherished contemporary books of wisdom is by Daphne Rose Kingma. It's a book of days simply called A Garland of Love. She gives us a clear sense of this connection that I've been speaking about, and I quote, "We are made of the bones and the dust of the earth. We are part of and belong to all that is. We are neither conquerors, overlords, nor masters of that which is around us. The elements of our bodies and the winds of our spirits are made of the same materials precisely as the earth, the stars, and all living things. To know this is to live on the earth itself, with love, to see it not as a separate entity, but as another expression of the stuff of your own being. As you move through your world today, no matter how far from nature you may seem, remember that the earth is connected to you, and that through the very design of your molecules, you are connected to it." Unquote. Daphne Rose Kingma. And we feel that connection, especially here, near the heartbeat of the internet. I want you to remember that wonderful scene in the film Contact after Jodie Foster has traveled in the machine through the wormholes in space. She arrives, of course, at a very alien place. The extraterrestrial there and Foster's character make a connection, a very intimate connection, on the beach. A physical and spiritual connection is made between two very different species of life in this universe. Two species separated by the lonely distances between the stars. And if we ever find another race of living beings inhabiting this vast universe, on some fundamental level, we'll be connected to them too, simply for inhabiting the same space. And you, O my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached, in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge you will need be formed, till the ductile anchor hold, till the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere on my soul. An excerpt from A Noiseless, Patient Spider by Walt Whitman. No matter where we are on this planet, we are all connected to each other by an invisible thread. There are wires that connect us to the heartbeat of the internet. Without them, an entire generation would be lost. Nicholas Negroponte in Wired said, and I quote, "The most astonishing part of the internet is that nobody is in charge. We take for granted some form of authority, some hierarchy in almost everything. In childhood, it's from parents and teachers. In adult life, it's from bosses and government. While we may not always be pleased with where we stand in the hierarchy, at least we understand it. The net, a reliable system made up of loosely connected and imperfect parts that work because nobody is in control, shakes up all our centralist notions of hierarchy." Unquote. Of course, there is a body of individuals who are setting standards for the web, what code will be employed as the standard for programming of websites. But still, these people are really not the ones in charge. So now that we've become dependent upon technology, here's something else to consider. Ours is a mechanized society. We work with machines everywhere. At work, we have complex computers and larger machines for manufacturing what is needed for our society to function. In years past, we were able to leave our work behind at the end of a day and come home to a house that offered some sort of a break from all that we had to put up with during the course of that workday. But now, today, we come home to computers, modems, routers, email, the internet, fax machines, cell phones, and tablets. We can now do most of our work from home or bring some of that work home with us. For example, I can do this webcast from this digital studio in my home. When we need relaxation, we fill our homes with every time-saving device on the market. Our TV rooms are now just as good as the movie theater with the introduction of home theater systems, DVD and Blu-ray. Our flat-screen TVs can bring us the 3D experience that we only thought was available in multiplex movie houses. Our games are now in the virtual online world where we can be just about any character we want to be. We can shoot sophisticated weaponry and get killed, and in a few moments become healed enough to get up and fight again. Instead of learning an instrument and savoring the simple joy that comes with its accomplishment, we pretend to play instruments in a virtual world with other players, so-called musicians, around the world. Once we were worried about becoming couch potatoes with our remotes in hand. Now we are so comfortable with our technology that we're finding more and more ways to become one with the overall experience, and one with the couch, if you will. Star Trek's holodeck is not that far away. I'm Don Jackson, following a thread through the maze of our contemporary lives. To be completely truthful, this generation is one of the most connected societies in human history, but it's a curious connection. In the past, if you needed to make a phone call while on the road, you looked for a phone booth at the side of the road. When cell phone technology first appeared, we looked at it as a phone to report breakdowns on the highway. Now they are a vital part of our lives. We feel naked knowing we have left our phone at home by mistake. We've become more comfortable with texting one another than actually speaking on the phone. Our language skills, one of the most important connections we have with one another, are disintegrating as we look for more and more internet slang to use in place of full words. My thanks to Scott and Steve McCackern for technical support and advice. Our connection goes back many years, and because of it, you now have this webcast, this program. Our lives are intricately connected to the machines we have made, and we seem to need to take them with us. Wireless connections in handheld devices like cell phones, tablets, and laptops to keep us connected to the virtual world. In some ways, we've made a greater connection to the virtual world than we have to the real world. If you believe the premise of the Terminator movies, though, we should be careful not to become too reliant on our machines. What we should strive to be is more reliant on each other and continue to strengthen that connection. I'm Don Jackson. Have a great day and a good night filled with many sweet dreams.